Welcome to an alternate past. Today's video is, what if Columbus never discovered the Americas? In 1492, when Christopher Columbus set sail across the Atlantic Ocean, he embarked on a voyage that would change the world forever. But what if Columbus had never discovered the Americas? What would our modern world look like without that pivotal moment in history? Imagine a world where indigenous civilizations like the Aztecs and the Incas continued to flourish undisturbed by European conquest. The cultural and architectural marvels of these societies might have evolved in ways we can scarcely fathom today. Human sacrifice, a dark facet of these cultures, would continue to haunt the lives of thousands, evoking shock and horror. Europe, on the other hand, would remain largely unaware of the vast, resource-rich lands to the west. The scramble for colonization would play out differently, with European powers competing for dominance in Africa and Asia instead. The disease-ridden voyages that killed millions of Native Americans would be non-existent, sparing entire populations from pandemics that wiped out up to 90% of their numbers. The transatlantic slave trade, which forcibly relocated millions of Africans to the Americas, may have taken a different trajectory. If the Americas were never discovered, the labor demand in European colonies would shift. Perhaps fewer Africans would be subjected to the brutal, dehumanizing Middle Passage. However, European powers could have intensified their focus on Africa itself, enslaving and exploiting its people and resources even more ruthlessly. The ripple effect on African societies would be catastrophic, forever altering the continent's demographic and cultural landscape. Had Columbus not discovered the Americas, the wealth of resources like gold, silver, and sugar that poured into European coffers would have never materialized. This lack of wealth might delay the onset of the Industrial Revolution, altering the course of technological advancements and economic growth. European powers like Spain and Portugal might not have risen to such prominence, skewing the balance of power in ways that could lead to an entirely different political landscape in Europe. Without the influx of new crops from the Americas, Europe's agricultural landscape would be starkly different. Foods like potatoes, tomatoes, and maize revolutionized European diets, fueling population growth and urbanization. In their absence, widespread famine and malnutrition could take hold, stunting demographic and social development. The Irish potato famine, which killed 1 million people, would never happen, but millions of Europeans would also miss out on a crucial food source that sustained them. Native American tribes would continue to develop their distinct cultures, untouched by European interference. The rich tapestry of their languages, arts, and traditions would remain unbroken. Yet, without European weapons and horses, their internal conflicts could perpetuate bloody tribal wars, creating their own narratives of conquest and dominance. The absence of Columbus's discovery would also affect scientific and navigational achievements. The maps of the world would be less complete, and the age of exploration might lose its momentum. Key figures like Magellan and Vespucci might never become household names, and human understanding of geography and global interconnectedness would lag behind. Religiously, the spread of Christianity across the Americas would not occur, leaving millions adhering to indigenous and syncretic beliefs. Countries like Mexico and Brazil, deeply shaped by Catholicism, introduced by Spanish and Portuguese missionaries, would follow entirely different spiritual trajectories. The lack of conversion efforts might mean the preservation of ancient religious practices, potentially leading to a richer, though vastly different, spiritual landscape. The absence of Columbus's discovery could mean the delay or even avoidance of many of history's darkest chapters. The brutal encomienda system, which enslaved and massacred indigenous people under the guise of Christianity, wouldn't sear the conscience of humanity. The colonization of North America, leading to the near extermination of tribes like the Cherokee, Sioux, and Iroquois, would remain a shadowed, unfulfilled possibility. Global trade networks would also take a dramatically different shape. The triangular trade linking Europe, Africa, and the Americas would be non-existent, altering the flow of goods, people, and ideas. The economic interdependence that reshaped nations and forged global empires would be fragmented, leading to more insular and arguably self-sufficient societies. In conclusion, if Columbus had never discovered the Americas, our world would be a vastly different place. Indigenous civilizations would continue their trajectory, Europe would face different challenges and triumphs, and the global power dynamics would be unrecognizable. The complex tapestry of human history, colored by both progress and immense suffering, would miss a vital thread.